with the W9 and the W2? How do I file the W9?
Alright. Chapter 1156 of the One Piece manga dropped, and I'm trying to beat my last record of uploading a chapter review. Last time I dropped it at like 4 a.m, but this time I'm trying to aim around 1 a.m. I guess we'll see when the video's actually finished. Anyways, this chapter was incredibly hyped up by the leakers, but I don't really see that much agenda. I mean, there is agenda like all of the chapters, but it's nothing like last chapter. We'll see though, since I haven't actually read the chapter just yet. Before we get into it though, every week a chapter comes out, I make a review just like this one. It's a fun and chill vibe we got going on here, so I think you like it. Just make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out next chapter. First thing we see is probably the biggest topic of discussion this week, the new color spread. Before we get into why it's so controversial, let's actually appreciate how nice it is. I mean, come on. Oda is someone who definitely clutters a ton of characters and drawings, but this was handled surprisingly really well. We have about 13 characters here and nothing seems too out of place. Out of place, huh? Well, glaze aside, let's talk about the clear reason this color spread even exists. Oda has once again told us about the dynamic the Straw Hats have, as well as the parallel to the Roger Pirates. Roger is obviously Luffy's parallel, and we all should have agreed that Rayleigh was Zoro's, but then we entered Gabon, and everyone turned their brains off. When Dude was first introduced, Luffy immediately told us this is exactly how Sanji would end up in the future. Later in the chapter is told to us the lore of Gabon, how he stood alongside Rayleigh and Roger as extremely strong compared to the other crewmates, and that he's the left hand of the Pirate King. I mean, this alone should have sufficed and confirmed who he was the parallel of. The only other person in Luffy's crew stated to be the wings with Zoro, Sanji. Oda hammered in that point by literally using the same word, wings, to describe Rayleigh and Gabon's dynamic on the crew. What's the issue then? The issue is Nami fans, or should I say Zoro fans. I don't think any actual Nami fans are in on agenda piece, like let's be for real. If I see a Nami fan on Twitter, they're literally always a shipper. The in quotations Nami fans I see in agenda piece always, and I mean always, call themselves Romance Dawn Trio fans. It's clear what's going on here. Like, the notion is pretty hilarious because, I mean, come on. How are you a fan of a trio that barely even exists? Oda tried to push this dynamic in our faces earlier in the arc, and funnily enough, all it did was further strengthen the other actually entertaining trio, that being the Monster Trio. The agenda continued because not too long ago, it was revealed that Gabon was actually the navigator of the Roger Pirates. And so that's what gave the, in quotations, Nami fans ammo to fight back and try to steal Gabon for their character, or at the very least downplay Sanji's parallel with Gabon. Entering this chapter, we got brief hints on Twitter about how the color spread is about the wings, so us Sanji guys got hype. And then we got more detailed spoilers about how it's actually Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Nami on the spread, and so Zoro fans stood up to slander. And then the actual spread came out. This genuinely had me dying because we had this entire war over information we had no idea about, and all of that just for Nami not to even be part of the real conversation and just being there because Oda decided to add her. Heck, us Sanji fans took it a step further, saying she's actually shares the parallel with Rayleigh instead of Gabon. I find this entire thing funny because we all know, I mean, well, all of us with a brain, all of us know what Oda's trying to push, and that's obviously Sanji number 2 stocks. Argue with the wall, bro. Anyways, for my personal opinion on this, I find it funny, but it's actually a pretty cool spread, and it's crazy that after years of waiting for Oda to actually get on board with the Sanji Gabon thing, it doesn't even feel real. But enough yapping about that, let's get into the actual chapter. The chapter's name is Idols, and it starts off immediately with a reaction to a supposed pirate attack that wasn't handled correctly. Back in those days, certain idols roamed the seas. Someone described the pirate attack in a funny way, adding a heart to the end. and everyone within the kingdom is wondering why the heck they aren't fighting back. They're calling all the guys useless. In the next panel, we see Marines and regular guys alike beat up but with heart eyes, while the girls are pissed that the pirates took everything without any retaliation. Even the Marines could not oppose this group. They were known as the Kuja Pirates, a crew that hailed from the elusive Isle of Women. We see their ship, and yeah, it's exactly what you're thinking. We got the past Amazon Lily girls before GTA 6. A fierce and stunning pirate band off limits to man. And then we see, oh goodness gracious, we see Gloriosa in her prime stunting on all the girls, talking about how much she's grown wary of her own beauty. The glaze is ridiculous because even all the girls have heart eyes for her, and she's reintroduced as the Empress of Amazon Lily. Now, I don't know what you guys might be saying, but I don't really care. Despite Oda drawing these lips so stupidly, it kind of works. He of course never does something so dumb when he's drawing Boa, and I think that's why I still have her over Gloriosa. Regardless, we're putting peak against peak. I mean, come on, what else is there really to say? In the next page, a young Tritoma is trying to give Gloriosa all of her fan letters, but Gloriosa notices the insanely huge pile of letters in the back, and they're all for Shaki. Tritoma, by the way, is the one Oda revealed in a SBS to be the empress who died to the love sickness disease before Boa stepped up. It actually gets me wondering how young Boa was when she became empress, or was there just no empress until Boa stepped up? I don't know, and there's probably information I'm forgetting because Amazon Lily genuinely had me sleeping back in quarantine, so y'all can let me know in the comments. Indeed, the only one said to outshine Gloriosa was her first mate, Shaki. In the next panel, the Roger Pirates arrive, and Gloriosa is warned about them. Roger yells through a speaker telling them to hand her over. In the double spread after, Roger says that today's the day they'll finally win Shaki from them, and that they're there to capture her. Anyways, Gloriosa asks if being loved by her isn't enough for him, but she's completely ignored as Roger tells them to go get Shaki. All of a sudden, she kicks through her door and the glaze just starts. They say her every move was captivating, and we see Gabon with heart eyes alongside the other Roger pirates, and Roger shocked. In her presence, flowers wilted, birds lost their song, and people turned against one another. And as the glaze continues, we literally see examples of these going on. Even the birds have heart eyes. What is going on? She starts off by getting through Gabon, saying his name, and Gabon gets low-div by her instantly. Then Roger tries to retaliate, shaking in his own boots, but suddenly gets low-div as well with heart eyes. Dude's on the floor admitting that he couldn't fight back, and the narrator says her beauty humbled even the mightiest of warriors. Alright, elephant in the room. Yes. In the next page, we finally see her full face, and she tells Roger that he should know by now that she'll never submit to another's captivity, and then walks off telling the crew to steal all of their treasure. Roger has heart eyes again, and Gloriosa is trying to tell bro she wants him, but he's telling her to get out of the way, her friend's too bad. This is ridiculous considering Roger didn't even end up with her. Dude went on to have a child with some random girl. And then she aged like this. Yeah, you know what? This might be the single craziest thing Oda could have done. This is Shaki at like 64 years old. I'm just shook that Oda fried her like this. Shaki has an interaction with Rayleigh. Clearly, he's probably the only person in the entire world at that point unscathed by any of their beauty, and he calls his crewmates idiots for it. Shaki winks at bro and he's just shook. Rayleigh didn't even blush either like the spoilers tried to tell us. He's literally just in shock. Next page has everyone reacting to the Navy pulling up on them, and the Kuja pirates are stealing literally everything from Roger, but bro's not even resisting. As he tells his guys they've got to leave, Gabon notices that the ship coming after them is actually Garp's ship, and after Roger finds that out, he completely changes the plan. He and Garp both yell out to crush each other, and we get this beautiful panel of them in their youth. Man, Roger generally does just look like Ace with some facial hair. Garp uses a new move called Meteor Fist, and Roger uses a new move named, I'm gonna say it like a weeaboo, Arimatama. Maybe I'm mispronouncing it, but I don't really care. We see them both coming towards each other, and then bam, we get an image of them hitting each other, Conqueror's Haki flashing everywhere. I love this, I'm not gonna lie. The rivalry dynamics in One Piece are portrayed so well by Oda. It's why I love Zoro and Sanji's dynamic, especially when it's not one-sided and both sides genuinely want to outdo the other. Yeah, that's my type of dynamic. Roger, Garp, and Rox, three who would be spoken of as legends in the great pirate era, but at this time, their bloods burned with the passion of youth. In the same double spread, the Kuja pirates, after escaping, have a little bit of an incident. Gloriosa suddenly falls from a heartache, probably because of her love for Roger, and the narrator goes on to glaze their popularity. After their encounter with Roger, however, Shaki was crowned the new empress over Gloriosa, and her popularity skyrocketed. Alright, so what's Oda's beef with my girl Gloriosa? So to start off, she was the empress but got outshined by Shaki. Then she didn't get the guy she wanted. Then Shaki takes her crown. And then Shaki ages infinitely better than her. What even is this? Anyways, another elephant in the room. Before reading this chapter, I thought I would have Gloriosa over Shaki, but well, I guess I'm like the rest of the One Piece verse because Shaki's got it. Boa is better than both though, let's not get that twisted. We switch from that perspective to that of Elbaf, and we're in the underworld where Ida has her tavern. Apparently that boy Loki's been acting all the way up. Someone found him drowning and they tell Harold that he's always acting up when he's not around. Harold apologizes and thanks him for saving his son and then tells Loki to lock in. He is about to throw hands with the guy though because just before he said he wondered if he should have saved him or not, and she's saying that if he didn't and he let a kid die, well, I think you can use your imagination to come up with what would have happened to him. Loki laying down says that he didn't ask for any help, and the sailor forgets that he's being threatened and tries to square up with the kid instead. In the next panels though, Ida brings up the fact that Loki must feel lonely. After all, he's lost his mom and his dad is always busy, but Loki insults her. She ignores that though and suggests that Loki stays with her. Both of the brothers decline the offer immediately. Loki on the next page though says something insanely ironic. He says that Ida's plan is to act motherly so that she can sneak her way into the castle and that all she is a gold digger. This is actually kind of interesting because that was literally what his mom was. His mom took all of Harold's jewels, hid it away, and when she threatened to leave Elbaf because of how ugly Loki was, you could see all the jewels from before. I don't know what Oda was trying to convey with that little point. Maybe it's too late at night for me to really connect the dots. I'm on like 4 hours of sleep right now. But I just found that pretty cool. Ida, however, doesn't take anything he said personally in the slightest, dismissing it as Loki being cute. We see a giant girl crying because of how mean Loki is to Ida, and Ida tells her that there are tons of beautiful and kind people in the world. Loki scoffs and is pissed at the sight of it though, saying that he's sick of this country and its weak inhabitants. He'll become free like Rox. From then on, each time Rox visited and tried to recruit Harold, Loki would attempt to join Rox's crew, but he would ultimately never get his way. Loki asks if they're all happy because he's going to follow him to sea, and it's due to him hating all of them back. This is like the third time I'm saying this, the Sukuna is really showing here. In the final chapter of JJK, we finally got this told to us. Sukuna was hated and he projected that hate back onto the world in the way he conducted himself. Loki keeps moving me every time he genuinely has some dialogue in a chapter. This guy's like, he's like 6 years old. I genuinely look forward to seeing his reaction to Rox dying at God's Valley. It'll be insane. We switch perspectives again. Now we're at Hachinosu, the pirate island Rox said he'd take over last chapter, and we see that he actually executed his plans. We get dialogue of a guy saying he wants to join the Rox pirates, but someone denies it, saying that he won't even get to lay eyes on him. They call Rocks and his entire crew evil, and then in the next panels, a bummier looking pirate tells a mysterious guy to go a certain way to get to Rocks and kicks him while he's on his way. In the next page though, the guy suddenly grows by like 10 feet and grabs the bummy looking pirate by his head with one of his hands. His name is Kyo, the hitman. He's Shiki's rival, and he later became known as Silver Axe. The strong gathered around Rocks, and their presence attracted even stronger recruits. On the same page, Hachinosu gains his iconic holes for eyes as Rocks looks at the view. Rocks continues what he was saying to his crew before, that he's after 2 devil fruits. One of the fruits is most likely at Elbaf, and he wants Harold to eat it for his true powers to be shown. This is insanely likely to be that devil fruit Loki ate, and so Loki, being basically the last sentient capable ancient giant in the entire world, is the best way to extract his current power. Yeah, Elbaf is probably going to blow almost everything we've seen before out of the water. Do not be surprised when it happens. Pirate Captain John and Big Mom are part of the crew now as well. John says that they need the frozen giants, but wonders if it's really just legend, and Big Mom says she can't find anything about a frozen army of giants. I don't think I will ever understand Big Mom's appearance through the years. Like, why did she start off big, then slim down to this, then go back to her old ways? What happened? Wiper dismisses the idea of obsessing over the frozen giants, thinking of them as corpses, and then, wow, this guy is genuinely on par with that ugly guy from last chapter. His name is Pirate Strusen. Holy crap, I just remember who this guy is. He's the guy with the devil fruit that makes food out of anything. He's always been this ugly. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really care for what he's saying, so we're moving on. Alright, so is Oda just obsessed with ugly characters? Like, what is this? Fat Man Joe over here is a fishman, and they're still yapping about the frozen army of giants. Kaido is part of the crew now as well, and just suggests taking Harold by force, but Rocks kicks the crap out of him for even bringing up that idea. Kaido wants to retaliate, but he's stopped by Shiki, and Shiki says that they need to chill out because their group is bound to implode. That's a given, but now isn't the time for that. It'll come later. It's crazy that these guys know how bad the crew's dynamics are, but they still continue going because of what they can get for themselves. It's odd and like completely different from Luffy's crew. I don't know, I really don't like this crew at all. I guess that was the point though. John adds on to fry Kaido, telling him to chill the heck out until they cash in a little more. And then Rocks tells Kaido he'll rip him a new one if he suggests some crap like that again. And Kaido takes it like a good boy. The final double spread of the chapter is a look at the full Rocks pirates. A whole bunch of ugly people of course, but aura I guess. Now this pirate crew has 0 aura, let's be real here. Rocks tells his guys that Elbaf is the key to bringing down the Holy Land. If they don't buy that idea, then leave, because going forward is their chance on whether or not they want to follow him. If they've got the guts to do it though, he'll take them to the World Summit, and the chapter ends. This was an interesting chapter. It wasn't insane like the leakers were trying to say, but it definitely was entertaining. There's way more to talk about, especially when it comes to agendas, but I'll save all of that for the follow-up video. Just know it has to do with the Garp stuff. I've been seeing a whole bunch of foolishness lately, and I don't really understand why or how. But anyways, that was a cool 8 out of 10 for me. 1154 is still the best chapter in the flashback so far for me, but this chapter wasn't bad in the slightest. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next chapter review. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.